Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael. I'm going to be your host for this afternoon's session. Today we're looking at CH50 accounts and we're having a quick look at what is new in version 33. So some enhancements, maybe some services that have been released as well that you may not be aware of. So just to try and promote those a little bit. Now I'm going to tell you about maybe what's coming next or what's just round the corner. So I'm Michael, I'm a learning facilitator here at Sage. We run loads of webinars for CH50 accounts. Many of you will probably have been on them before. Do get yourself signed up for some more. If you have attended a webinar before, you'll know the score with regard to how it works. If not, let me just quickly run you through that. So you don't need a microphone for these sessions. If you do have one, you will find that it's muted automatically. Does mean, however, if you've got any questions for us, then you'll need to pop them into the questions panel. Now, the UI or the interface that you have today, it might be through, might look a little bit different to what I've got on the screenshot today. Do let me know if it's completely different. You will have a questions option. So if you've got the toolbar down the right, you'll have a little icon that looks like a speech bubble. If you give that a click, it'll expand and you get access to that box where you can start typing in your questions. Otherwise, if it's via your web browser, you'll find the option, I think it's the upper right corner. You'll have an option to access the questions panel. So you can click that and start, again, submit any comments or questions that you might have. There is an opportunity to download a copy of today's handout. Again, depends on the interface. It's a bit hit and miss at the moment, whether it's the new one or the original one that you have available. So again, there should be an opportunity to download that. If anyone's struggling with that, do let me know, and we can try and get that sent out manually. Now, the session is being recorded. A link to the recording will be included on your follow-up email. That follow-up email will be sent automatically round about an hour after we finish. So round about 3:30, that will be sent out to you. That will also include links so you can register for our upcoming webinars, but also so you can access our recordings page as well. So if you've missed any sessions or you need a bit of a recap on any topics you've attended previously, do check that out as well. Let's have a look at what we're covering in today's session though. So this is our agenda. So I just want to quickly mention a little bit about installing and upgrading, where you'll find information on that. Obviously, we'll run through what's new feature-wise. Not a great deal of change this time around. Mention some of those services, give you an idea of what's coming soon, and also how you can get involved as well. So if there's anything you'd like to see in the software going forward, changes, improvements, maybe something doesn't quite work how you want it to, let us know. I'll show you how you can get involved in that. It's really easy to submit your suggestions. And then just right at the end, if there are any questions, I will pick up those as well as telling you a little bit about the additional support that's available. Right, so without further ado, let's get started. So we're going to start with where probably we need to, and it's all about installing and upgrading. And that common question, when will I actually get version 33? Well, it's been available for about a month and a half or so now. So some of you might have it, some of you may be just hearing a little bit about it, hence you've registered for the webinar today. But as usual, when we release our new versions, we do I suppose what we term a staggered release, so that not everyone gets it at the same time. Now, you will be prompted at some point, if you haven't already, to download and update your software via the usual methods. That's either going to be via email, it might be an auto update, it might be a message that you see when you're going into your software. But it is available if you want that and you haven't yet had that message. So maybe you watch the webinar today and you think, actually, that would be useful for us. Then you can always get a hold of that prior to you being notified. All you would need to do, head along to sage.co.uk/install, and that will take you to our install hub where you can download that. And obviously there'll be instructions on installing it and upgrading. So that's where you'll find that should you want to get hold of that. Now, the first option to quickly mention is Copilot. You may have heard a little bit about Copilot. Some of you may be using it, you may have had a go. Some of you might be thinking, well, I've heard about it, but actually I haven't given it a go yet. So what we've done in version 33 is we've given you that opportunity to have a go of Copilot without fully activating it within your software. So if you are in that position where you haven't fully activated it yet, then it means in version 33 you can have a go of that and see if it's for you or not. It means you can obviously fully explore the Copilot features without that necessity to go through and set everyone up with a Sage account, etc. Because it does, if you fully activated it, it will have that impact on the way that you log into your software. So it uses 2FA, for instance. So anyway, it means you can have a go of that. Now, if you've not used Copilot before, you're not aware of it, think of it as almost like a digital assistant within your software. So it's going to help you understand your top level information within your software. You'll have access to things like debt management areas. You'll get prompted about stock management, about profitability within your software. It has anomaly detection, so it'll look for maybe those processing errors based on your historical accounting information. Now, we do run a separate webinar on that, and actually we've got one tomorrow afternoon I think it's at 1 o'clock. So if you're wanting to find out more about it, then do get yourself signed up for that one. But we're running that one on an ongoing basis, so we're running that throughout February as well. Just to quickly show you that though, if I share my screen, so I'll just quickly share my desktop. Let's find the right option. There we go. Let's quickly share that for you. If I go into version 33, just give that a moment to launch. And I'll go into a company where I haven't activated Copilot just yet. So I've got some where we know this one is, but this one here we use for other demos. So we'll just go into that one. It's not connected to any of the connected services that you have, such as remote data access or bank feeds or anything like that. Just pretty much just basic accounting in this one. Just log in. And when you're going in, you'll be prompted with this box. So you have the option to try Copilot. Now, if you don't have a Sage account, you will be prompted to go through that process, but otherwise, you'll have full access to it once you're in there. So it's just that it just means you can have a try of something based around your data. So it'll pick up your live data, it'll report on it correctly as well. So you'll actually see what it looks like and how it works with your live company. And then if and when you're ready, it means you can give that a full go and fully activate it if required. Other than that, I'm just going to close out of that and I'll go back into it. And just in case anyone hasn't seen Copilot, just going to quickly close out. We'll go back into it. I'll give you a quick little run through of Copilot, just so you can see what it's like. If you've got any questions, remember to keep them coming. Pop them into the questions panel. So I'll just select my company. Obviously, I'll go a lot more in depth. We have that dedicated webinar, which we've got tomorrow afternoon. I'm sure that's at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So as I mentioned, if you activate your connected services, so you link in with things like remote data access or bank feeds or Sage Copilot, you're then going to be prompted for an email address and password when you start logging in to Sage, rather than just a username and password. So obviously it makes it more secure. You may be prompted as well as part of that to authenticate that. So you would have an authenticator app on your mobile, give you a 6-digit code. You're probably familiar with that from logging into things like your banking software or different websites. It's all about security these days. So I'll just wait for that to open. Now on version 33, with Copilot as well, you'll see this little bar. It tells me Sage Copilot is active. You'll get like a little coloured bar at the top if it's not active. You'll also see where you've got insights. You'll see these, what we term the Copilot sparkles. So these little icons next to the various ledgers where you can access the Copilot insights from. So I just click customers as an example. what you'll have is on your toolbar, you'll have the Sage Copilot option. You would just give it a click, and you'll have access to this as well if you are in the sort of having to go with that trial option. But it gives you access to things like, you've got customer insights, so looking at your business performance. You've got information on your debt summary. It's telling me I've got 3 sales invoices worth this much which are overdue, and via that you can click into it, and you can send out. You've got the option to send out reminder letters. You can send out statements. For sending out reminder letters, you can automate that task as well. So you enter an invoice, and as it goes through that cycle, so just pop into the manage automated reminders for a second. So as it goes through that cycle, so 7 days before it's due, you can amend that that point at when it becomes, you want to send a reminder letter, that type of thing. You can say, right, when it hits this point in time, so let's say by default it's 7 days before the due date, it will email out a reminder to that customer. It would do that automatically. Then you've got things like overdue, warning letters, threat of legal action as it progresses through that sort of credit control cycle. And again, you can dictate at what point that gets sent, and also you've got things like the option to customize email templates as well, so you can word it how you want, get it to pull information through, etc. Nikki, you mentioned there, can activating Copilot affect remote data access? No, it won't affect it at all. So actually, it just makes it that bit easier for you when you are when you're using. If you've got remote data access. Remote data access is what you would term a connected service. So it means that you've already got email addresses, etc., linked to your account and your users. So it just means that little bit quicker to set that up. Now, by default with Copilot, just quickly mention this as well. By default, if I just pop back to the slides for a moment, find the right option. There we go. So with Copilot, your subscription, it does entitle you to a single user license. It includes that as part of your subscription. Additional users can be added, which is why we let you try Copilot before you fully activate it. You can have a go and see if it's useful or not. Nikki, you mentioned you do have a problem. You mentioned there seems to be a problem. It shouldn't be, obviously that shouldn't cause a problem with remote data access itself. So yeah, get in touch with our support team and they'll be able to have a look at that with you. Right, so that's Copilot. Let's move on and quickly mention about updating the manager's email address. Now, this might be something that you might never do in Sage 50 accounts. But obviously there's those instances where you might need to change the manager and the email address that's attached to that. So it might be the user whose email address was connected to your manager logon. Maybe they've left the business. Maybe they've changed their email address. Maybe the wrong user was used to connect to the cloud in the first place. So quite a number of reasons, and there are other reasons as well, obviously. So historically, it would have been quite disruptive, time-consuming process to do that as well, to update that email address. So taking down your connected services, such as what Nikki mentioned, remote data access, bank feeds, you would need to disconnect all those so we could change the email address and you then just reconnect them all. So time-consuming, disruptive, because it meant that those services would be taken down temporarily. But there is a new option in version 33. It does enable that to be much quicker. It means that the manager's email address can be changed without that disruption to your connected services. So no more taking those down. But again, chances are you might never come across that or something that's very, very infrequent. But just wanted to quickly tell you about that one. Now, some of you may have attended our recent, or fairly recent anyway, AI document capture webinars. If you've not come across AI document capture before, It was first introduced in Sage 50 Accounts version 31. Again, it's classed as a connected service. And what it does, it's designed to support the automation of your accounts payable. So the automation of the entry of things like purchase invoices and your purchase credits. So you can either upload the document manually. So let's say you've been emailed an invoice from one of your suppliers. Let's just say it's a PDF document. You upload that to the AI document capture service, or you can email it to that service. You will actually be allocated a specific email address for you to send that to. And what that will do, it will read that document, read the content of it, and it will return draft transactions to you, ready for approval and posting into your accounts. Now, if you just ever receive small invoices, you might think, well, actually, that's not a great time saver. But we come across invoices where it could be 50, 100 lines, possibly more. If you think about 100 lines, how long it would take you to key that in manually compared to a service doing it automatically, it can be a big time saver. Now, until version 33 was released, when you uploaded that document, either manually or via email, it would have generated the transaction that you could say, yes, that's right, pop that into my accounts for me. But what it will now do, it will automatically attach a copy of that document to the transaction. So if you do need to see the detail, you can literally click the attachment link. So if you're working through a supplier activity, for instance, you'll see the transaction, you'll see the little paperclip icon next to it to show it's got attachments. You can just click on that, it will open the document for you. So prior to version 33, you would have had to attach that document manually. You've been able to do attachments for a little while now, but it will now do it automatically as part of that AI document capture process. If you've not seen AI document capture in action, we do have a webinar recording on that one. I would encourage you to have a look at that. Quite an interesting one. And obviously, use of that is included as part of your subscription. Again, it's classed as one of these connected services. But really simple to use that one. And again, the bigger your invoices are, more items on there, the more time you're gonna save using it. Now, do we have anyone from Ireland with us today? I didn't get a chance to have a look at that today. But if you're based in Ireland, I'll assume we've got some. So based in Ireland, there is an update in version 33 to the return of trading details, the RTD form. So refinements made to specific tax codes within your software. And if you are based in the UK and you're looking at that, like, oh, T20, T24, we're up to T51, T52 now. So it's a lot more complex VAT when you're in Ireland. There's a lot more tax codes available. So we've just added a couple of new ones as well. So amendments to or refinements to existing tax codes to make sure they're correctly represented on the return. So there's an update to T20, T23, T24 by default. But also new tax codes have been created as well. So when you install version 33, those tax codes will be generated automatically for you. If you've already used T51 and T52 for something else, it will just look for the next suitable numbers that it can use. And also the RTD form itself has been updated. So it will now split the 13.5% and the 9% rates. So it's now going to show those as individual rows on the RTD form. So again, watch out for that one. If you need more information about those tax codes or just Irish tax codes in general, then you will find that information in our help centre. But as you can see, there's a big list of those. Now, on the theme of Ireland, and this is potentially a big change as well, but this is potentially a big change the way you work. If you need to, or if you have, let's say you have two companies, one based in the UK, one based in Ireland, then this is a fantastic change for you, fantastic update. Prior to version 33 coming along, if you were to run those two companies from a single installation of Sage 50 accounts. Before going into the UK company, what you would have had to do is make sure your Windows regional options were correct for your UK company, and then you would go into it. And if you were then going to change to your Irish company, again, you would need to change your Windows regional settings. Now, that can be quite cumbersome at times. And to the point where we'd often find that if you were in that position, some people would actually just, I've got two PCs, one set up with Irish regional options and one with UK, and you'd have your respective companies on that specific PCs. What you've got now is much simpler. It will simply look at your country code, so the address that's attached to each business, and it will apply the relevant VAT settings accordingly. So if you go into an Irish company, you'll see the Irish VAT settings. UK, you'll see the UK VAT settings. No more having to change or going into your company and think, oh, right, I forgot to change it again. I'll need to close out, then come back into it once you've made that change. So a lot better, a lot simpler. And hopefully you go down to one PC rather than two if you are on version 33. Sage Assistant has had an update. So this is where we're getting into some of the newer services that you have available. Now, this isn't specific to version 33, but it might be something that you're not aware of yet. So the Sage Help Center or Sage Help option, when you access that, so remember you can just press F1, or when you're working in your software, top right-hand corner generally of the window that you're working in, you'll have a help option, and it will launch the help panel down the right-hand side. And in there, you'll find the sort of the black area for Sage Assistant. And it's almost like essentially start typing in your questions, and it will try and find those answers for you. So you can access that at any time within your software. But just close out, go back across to my Sage. And just let me share the right screen so you can see that. So if I just click help, top right hand corner, again, I could press F1. It'll launch a panel similar to what we've just looked at for Copilot. So you get that panel down the right hand side, go down to Sage Assistant, try the chat option. So I'll just ask it when the next webinar is for Sage 50 accounts. So it's going back in saying, right, a number of free training courses and webinars available to you need. So if we click the link to webinars, then it's even including the link there that I would need to access that. So I just click it, it'll open the browser. I'm sure you, well, hopefully you're very familiar with this window. This is the one where you can go on and you can register for some of our upcoming sessions. So you can see we've had a lock date this morning. This is the one you're on at the moment. Tomorrow morning, we've got the VAT return at 11. In the afternoon, we've got that Copilot session that I was talking about. Have a look at that in a lot more detail. And then before you know it, next week we're into February. So we're looking at things like year-end, nominal records, management reports, clearing records, etc. But the idea of Sage Assistant, it just tries to guide you and provide you with the right information that you're after. So give it a go, engage with it, see how you get on. So remember, it's just help at the top of any screen that you're on, or just press F1, and again, you'll have access to that. Right, okay, I'm going to go back to the slides. Next one I want to quickly mention, this might be something you've seen from your home page within Sage 50 accounts. And excuse me, and it's our smart funding and savings hub. So with this, it means that you can you get simplified access to. It's a network of I suppose vetted partners that offered sort of tailored sort of funding and saving solutions, just to help you stay in control of the finances within your business. So whether it's you want to know about your credit health, how you make savings on business expenses, interest rates, or even just access funding. So that's available from your home page within the software. Nice and easy to access. I've included a link as well. So if you are interested, do check that out. So if you need to access that within your software, you would just go to the home page. It's the option, well, it's normally the window that pops up as you access Sage 50 accounts. So you'll have a number of panels on there, and the funding and savings hub should be listed. So you can get direct to that and start exploring that if that's suitable. Now that sort of brings us towards the end of the new features for now, and some of those newer services that you have available to you. It's worth mentioning potentially what's coming soon. So expense management, or Sage Expenses to give its official title, which is going to be your all-in-one expense management solution. So available on mobile, means that you and your colleagues, your employees, you can record expenses, mileage, per diem, or what I would term daily rates, entertainment, and record those within the Sage Expenses app, and then essentially that will integrate with Sage 50 accounts. More information to follow on that soon. It's not available just yet. So watch this space. It's probably going to be one of the next things that you hear about. The other one that you will start hearing a little bit about as well is Sage 50 Cloud accounts. So our hosted version, or true cloud version. So that should be available, we think, probably towards the round about the end of March. Meaning that if anyone's using remote data access, potentially that's something you can forget about, because you'll just be accessing Sage accounts via a web browser. It means that you don't have to have the software installed on your PC. It means if if for whatever reason you need to work from home, maybe the weather's bad, if you've got a PC at home, you would just use your web link. You would be able to access your accounts. So it's a hosted solution. Again, you'll be starting to hear more about that over the coming months as we build up towards the release of that. So again, watch this space. Now, if you've got anything, so obviously we just covered a few of the options today. If you've got anything that you would like to see in your software, so Gareth, you mentioned there, is there potential for version 33 to have other countries' VAT settings alongside the UK? Obviously Sage 50 accounts in its current guise it's designed for the UK market and the Irish market. So the VAT is specific for those regions, and it will toggle between the two depending on which region you're in. It depends on what the VAT requirements are. So at this point, it is actually different software. It'll all be called Sage 50 accounts. If it's based in another country, so Sage 50 accounts, there's a Canadian edition, there's a US edition. It's a global product, and they are very similar in a number of respects. But yeah, that specific software is designed for that specific region. You can always ask the question if you want to give me a bit more detail, though. So if you want to tell me what which countries you'd be looking for, or let me know, and I can always ask the question and come back to you. But if you've got any thoughts about how you'd like to see the product developed going forward, you can submit those online. Now that could be something very, very small, very minor. Just so happens if it changed, it would make your life just that little bit easier. Software would work that bit better for you. Maybe save you a little bit of time. It might be a big change to the software that you would like to see. If you've got any thoughts, easy to submit those. Let's go back to the desktop. I'll show you where you can access that. So if we went to the home page, so home top left-hand corner, and you just scroll down, you've got this roadmap option. It's going to bring up this page, and this is where you can, if you're maybe you want to have a look at that delivered, so have a look at that area, give you an idea of what features have been brought on and the various versions and updates over the years. So just make sure your knowledge of that is up to date. Sometimes we get loads of requests and we say, well, actually that's been out a few years now. People just haven't realized. So have a look through that. But if you scroll down on this page, you've got the opportunities to have your say. So you can submit ideas, you can vote on those as well, if that's something you want to do. So you can see the options that are there, you can vote on them, and it's easy enough to add any new ideas that you might have yourself as well. Sometimes the smallest of ideas are the best. So it might just be something as simple as, right, well, a recent example, product description. We increased the length of that, so you can have more characters in there. I think it was restricted to, off the top of my head, I think it was about 60 characters, and we increased it to about 260, something in that region. So quite a big increase. But again, it could be something as simple as that. I just need a few extra characters in a certain field because of the way we work and the way we like to access. But have a look through that. Add your sort of your vote behind maybe some of the other suggestions. So easy to get involved if you are interested. Right, let's pop back to the slides. If there's any final questions, do get involved, submit your questions. Remember, you can download the handout as well. Apologies if your interface is a little bit different. If someone could let me know what it looks like from your end. Do you see this panel down the right or not? Because it has been changing quite a bit today. But do let me know. Remember, the link to today's recording, it will be on your follow-up email. You'll get that in around about an hour's time. It includes links to register for our upcoming webinars, and also so you can access our recordings page as well. Just to quickly mention a couple of other options as well, our community hub if you need specific support, or maybe you want to offer support and answer questions. You can do that via our community hub. Our community hub is an online forum specifically for Sage 50 accounts users. You can share knowledge, swap ideas, solve problems. It doesn't have to relate to your Sage software. It could be anything to do with your business. Specific business problem you've got, you maybe want some help from other businesses in a similar situation. Pop it on there. See if someone offers you any support. And then the final thing to quickly mention is our Sage Learning Survey. If you've got your phone handy, quickly scan the QR code. It's a 2-question survey. So it's going to ask you things like, let's have a look, see if I can get it on mine. So 2-question survey should take about 20 seconds to complete that. It'll ask you sort of question 1, which business related, and these are non-product topics, would you be most valuable for your business? So things like AI, financial fluency, insights, risk awareness, business growth, cyber security, that type of thing. Second question will be around the learning format, which works best for you. So is it short videos, live webinars, e-learning, virtual instructor-led classes, that type of thing. If you've got any thoughts on that, or you would just like to get involved, you can scan that. I've included the link in this slide, is included on the handout if you do download that. Finally, let me quickly thank you for coming along today. Hope you've enjoyed it, giving you a little bit of insight, just to really just keep you up to date. Again, not massive changes this time round. I think the big changes are just about round the corner now. So look out for Sage expenses, obviously MTD coming soon, and also potentially, which is just around the corner, quite a game changer for Sage 50, the Sage 50 Cloud. So fully hosted in the cloud as an option. If you can take a minute to complete the survey that pops up as you leave, we greatly appreciate it. Let us know if you hit the mark, what you thought of the webinar, any thoughts, ideas that you want to share on how we could improve the webinars going forward. And that follow-up email will be with you in round about an hour's time. Just going back to some of the comments and the question, Gareth. Yeah, there would be specifically Spanish. Is there a specific Spanish version of Sage 50? I'm sure there would be. You'll find out if you just go to sage.com. You'll be able to find out more about that if you are interested. But that would be installed as essentially separate software. That one, so should work alongside the UK version of Sage 50 accounts. And Andrew, you mentioned you're a complete beginner. Can you recommend any courses for you? It depends what information or what type of training or what type of courses you're after. Sage University is a good starting point. That's all free to access. So do check that out. Just head along to sageu.com. That's Sage, and then the letter U for university, sageu.com. You'll need to set yourself up with a logon to gain access to that. But other than that, it's all free e-learns, etc. from that point. So maybe check that out as a starting point. If you can't find what you're after, we can offer one-to-one training. Sometimes that's on a paid-for basis. Depends what you're after. But if you are after specifically that and you can't find what you're after, get in touch with our support team and they can discuss your requirements with you. Claire, you mentioned you can see the panel, but no questions showing. You'll not see anyone else's. You'll only see your questions today. Just with me being by myself, you'll only see any questions that you submitted or the ones where I type an answer to, and I submit that to everyone. And I've not done that today. I've just read them out, and either we can do additional demos or I'll just give you an answer or point you in the right direction. But you'll only see that when we have support in the background typing in answers. Hope that makes sense. It's not that I'm hiding anything from you. So I think that's everything we've covered. Right, we'll end the webinar just at that point, which is about bang on time. And hopefully I'll see you again on some of our future sessions, even tomorrow, 11 o'clock for VAT part 2, or tomorrow at 1 o'clock for Copilot getting started. Hopefully we'll see you then. Thank you.